Hello everyone, and YouTube, can you hear me now? Because I've swapped where my microphone is, so maybe that works. Please let me know if it worked.
I can hear you.
Awesome, then it works for me and for most of you, it seems.
There was some pirate playlist. Perhaps somebody could play that while waiting for the next meetings, at least.
Hello everyone who arrived. It seems like we are only missing the Czech pirates because Raman registered for them. In the meantime, I am wondering, Matej, are you representing YPE? Okay, in this case, I'm sending you a link. No problem. I'm sending you a link, and if you can send a message to register there, so we have a written message, that will be best. Thank you. So technically, you could take both roles, Matej, but you should be announced by an organization representative in order to make sure that you are effectively authorized by the member to represent them. Okay, so let's not waste too much further. We are starting to write down in the minutes who is present. Thank you again for joining us. I will send to you the agenda proposal so you can review it while we take care of the formalities. So first point of order, the meeting is open at 2 p.m. and 10 minutes. And welcoming remarks from me. So I will be brief. Thank you again for joining. This is a weird times for a lot of pirates because of political turbulences throughout Europe. I know that in some national delegations, we are facing strong headwinds as well. And I would like to underline how important it is for us to keep this European link alive, especially to try and synergize in order to boost our chances in the upcoming elections. For instance, the Dutch, the Slovenians, and the Czechs will be going to the polling stations soon. So our objective here is to really keep the link alive between all of us to try and support each other. During this meeting, we will take care mostly of organizational issues with one item which makes me very happy, the application of the Romanian pirates to rejoin the organization, continuing on this theme of really coming together as a community. Right before we move on to the election of the chairs and minute takers and approve the agenda, I would like to suggest ahead of time that we switch section 3 and section 2 of the agenda in order for the activity reports to be given right after we have taken care of these little preparations, because Mab will have some things to say and he might have to run before we can go further into the meeting. Thank you very much again for joining and coming together. On to the election of the meeting chair and minute takers. I would like to humbly suggest myself to chair the meeting. If anyone else would like to fulfill the role, feel free to submit yourself. And hello, Raman, for joining.
Yeah, I'm so sorry for the delay. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Ahead and prepare a vote on the chairing. So it can be a rehearsal vote as well. If any one of you wants to take the floor, by the way, you can raise your hand with a button inside the meeting. Okay. I think this is good. So here I'm sending a link to the first vote of the meeting to confirm me being appointed as chair. And this way you can get familiar with how we will vote during this meeting. It's also to make sure that we don't forget anything. And I'm already noticing that Marco having 2 separate votes might have troubles. Here, so instead we will do what we did in the past, which is writing down your vote in the thread. And give me a second to spin it back up. Yes, Marco?
Does this poll system take into account the fact that some delegates have, like, not only in my case that I'm representing both the delegations of Pirati and the Swedish Para Party, but people, for example, like Roman that has 3 votes for the Czech Para Party?
No, it does not. That's why it's not ideal. So I'm going to do the thread again. So we revert to the old way of doing it. I forgot for a second. Up. Okay, now it's better. Here. So I sent a new link to the chat. And now you can cast your vote by replying to the thread, declaring your vote. And you can make it easier if you remember how many votes you wield. So for example, the Czech pirates have 3 votes, and Marco, because he's been given powers by the Swedish pirates to represent them, he has 2 votes, one for Pirati and one for the Swedish pirates. I see the votes coming in. Thank you very much, guys. I can already see a majority of votes in favor. So let's move on to the next point of order, which is appointing secretaries for the meeting. Who would like to help take minutes for the meeting? Yes, Alessandro?
Yes, hello everyone, and thank you, Chair. I can help with the minutes. I'm already doing it. The problem is that Sometimes I could be in trouble, so or be a bit slowly, or anyway, it would be better to have a backup. Thanks.
Thank you for that, Alessandro. Would anyone like to be a backup? This could be a guest, for example. Of course, it's better if you're more familiar with how we proceed here. But if it's your first time, do not hesitate. We welcome every help we can get. Okay. So I'm writing down the proposal to vote. And here is the new thread. Up. Yes, Alessandro?
Sorry, Chair. Can we confirm that we only have six at the moment, 6 delegates in charge of voting? Thank you.
Yes, Marco?
If I remember correctly, according to the procedure rules, the chair can nominate the minute taker. So I think that we can skip the voting.
Well, that's a good remark. Regardless, you can still go ahead and vote because this allows us to see how you proceed and we can correct potential mistakes. But so far, everything looks okay. And yes, there are only 6 delegates. Let me do a final recount just to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Matej from YPE. Well, I mean, 7 members represented, but only 6 co-represents both Sweden and Pirati. So you're correct, 6. Seven members represented, but 6 delegates. Okay, thank you very much. I'm closing the vote on the minute takers, so we can press ahead, but everything looks good so far. Thank you very much, guys. On to the next point, which is the approval of the agenda. So as I said, last minute proposal is to swap section 2 and section 3 in order for the organization's report to be taken care of first, in order for MAB to be able to discuss a bit further before it has to bolt away. So I will be writing the proposal, including this last minute change. If you would like to have a last minute change to be also included, now would be the time to speak up. Okay, I cannot see any hands raised. The proposal is ready, so I will be sending it shortly. Here you have it in the chat. So as I said, it's the same one which was drafted and communicated to all of you, but we are swapping 2 sections for the report to be given ahead of the rest of the meeting. And Babak, you are unmuted currently. We can hear your keyboard. I don't know if this was calculated or not. Probably not. If someone has moderation rights here, you could go ahead and mute Babak, as it does not seem to be listening.
I didn't hear you correctly. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, you are unmuted, so we could hear you tapping on the keyboard.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we have some votes coming in. We are missing YPE, the German pirates, and the Czech pirates on the approval of the agenda. You have the link in the conversation chat. Okay, thank you everyone. All the votes are in and the agenda is approved. So I am going ahead and closing the votes. And on to the report then. So I will introduce the subject quickly before giving the floor to Mab. So basically what was achieved so far is to get clarity on the direction we want to have among the boards for the organization. And most of it has been about building a secretariat in order to recruit people and help us conduct our operations. This includes managing the IT servers, for example, but also considering the types of activities we want to have in the future. So building out a campaigning and outreach team, because we cannot do everything ourselves. So expanding our base is key. And thanks a lot to Mab, who decided to help us with this and has been so far doing a lot of work. So Mab, if you like, the floor is yours.
Yes, excellent. And I hope you can all hear me. So for those who don't know me, my name is Matthias Bjernemalm. I'm called Mob because that is shorter. And I am since June the Secretary General of the European Pirates, which is a new role and part of this project that Florian mentioned to build a secretariat that will do a lot of the day-to-day activities of the organization. I thought there was a miscommunication with the board, so I thought I would have my presentation at 2 and not 2:30 because I need to leave at 2:30. So this will be super short and you will have time for questions on the discourse and not with me right now because I will not be able to stick around for it. But I'll post a link to a thread in discourse where I've asked for volunteers. And there you can read a little bit more about the different teams in the organization that we're about to build. So in the past, we've had a board-run organization where the board is expected to do most of the work and also represent the members and also do strategic thinking and a lot of other stuff. We relied heavily on our MEPs and their offices for support. And since we've gone from 4 to 1, we can't really do that to the same extent in the future. And therefore, we're now building a secretariat of volunteers to do a lot of the work for the organization. They will all report to the management team that reports to me, and I report to the board, and the board reports to you members. So you will not necessarily see me on a day-to-day basis on council meetings and so on, because I will be working on behalf of the board that I will report to. So I didn't expect to do reporting to the council meeting, for example. The first thing that I'm currently doing is building my management team. So we've opened up 5 positions for team leaders, and we're currently conducting interviews. We put it out a call for candidates on our webpage and on LinkedIn, and we got a lot of candidates on LinkedIn of various quality, and we got a fewer candidates from our webpage, but with a much clearer pirate-related background. And the teams will be the communications team, the IT team, the community and outreach team, the policy team, and the operations team. And for clarity, the operations is mainly accounting and HR-related tasks that I've combined into one team to get the magical number of 5 teams. This is a work in process, so the team structure might change, we might move roles and so on. And for this to work, we are heavily relying on volunteers that we will start recruiting as soon as we have the team leaders in place. The team leaders, I'm currently conducting interviews. I have enough candidates, I think, and it should be sorted out before the end of this month. So they should be starting working next month. And when they do, there will be a presentation of all the team leaders on the webpage and also some introduction on the discourse forum. After that, we will start prioritizing which roles to recruit, and then we'll start recruiting volunteers with the aim of have somewhere between 50 and 100 volunteers in specific roles, which you can see in the discourse thread that I linked, working for the organization before the end of the year. And then before the end of next year, my glorious dream is to have roughly 200 volunteers in different roles and capacities working for the European Pirates. I doubt we'll reach that far, but over 100 without any problem, I would say. So that's the ballpark. And then, of course, the main task will be communication, which is outward communication, community and outreach, which is communication with our members, interaction with our members, and also interaction with civil society and academia and other organizations that are close to us to build alliances and so on. Then it's the IT that makes everything work, and then it's operations that make the structure work with accounting and HR. Want to say outreach will also be responsible, at least in this stage, for the fundraising, which will be through a crowdfunding platform. So to be able to do everything we want to do, we'll need to get more money in from external sources, and we will have people working on crowdfunding and fundraising specifically with that aim. And then the last team is policy team, and that team will mainly focus on how we can give input to European legislation in the places where our parliamentary team can't or don't have the capacity fully to do so, which is commission consultations. So whenever there is a commission consultation on a topic that is relevant for European pirates, and by relevant, I mean that there's a council decision on, or we can connect to our pirate manifesto, which has been agreed by all member parties, we will try to do a feed into those consultations. We'll do a round of call for opinions and input from our members. Then our policy team will draft a response. Then they will send that response to the members for final input, make sure that we don't cross any red lines of our member parties or we don't misunderstood anything. And then we will submit it on behalf of the European pirates. And of course, we will also always make it public so that any member organization can then duplicate and reuse the material we've used in national consultations, or also to get involved on the European level. This communication with the members, both in the policy team and the outreach team, will normally happen through the forum on Discourse. So that is where you will see the operations of the Secretariat, and that is where you can interact with them. Don't expect them to be in the same channels as you are on Mattermost, because a lot of them will probably be on Mattermost, but they might be in separate channels where we have our Secretariat team. So the interaction you have with the Secretariat will mainly be through Discourse. And I think that was, well, with the time I have, that was everything that I have to say right now. If there's any very, very quick questions, I have roughly 2 minutes to respond. So yeah, thank you for your time.
Alessandro, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, actually, it's not a question. Is a kindly remark that I would like to thank you, Mab, for this for this energy and this new input, and would like to just to remark that the first input has been already done with the IT team, and thanks also to Numerosys that provides more volunteer, and the IT team was able to solve the Mattermost SSL issue, so it's a good start. Thank you very much, Mab, and good luck.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have a question? If not, we can release Mab. I will let a few seconds go by. Okay, doesn't seem to be the case. So thank you very much, Mab, for taking the time, and see you soon.
Okay, thanks. Bye, everyone. Have a nice meeting.
Okay, perfect. So now on to the big chunk of our meeting, which is about our organizational issues. And first, yes, Andre?
Okay. Oh, weird picture. I didn't want to bother Map with it, but one of the things I wanted to ask later on, and perhaps I might better do it now, is that there was a question from our finance man and also part of our board, if there could be more cooperation within the IT between parties in different countries. And also that apart from that, there is some money, because the money we now spend on IT could also be spent on a pirate infrastructure, preferably on private infrastructure and not for some private hosting. So that's something that's there. And I also saw in the thread that at least one of our people from the IT group in the Netherlands already applied. But we have a work in IT, and we are, I think there's a couple of people who want to contribute to this IT initiative. So that's what I wanted to say. And I think that's, if that's enough, it's in the minutes. So I didn't want to delay MAP more.
Yes, thank you very much. We will make sure that it is in the minutes, and I believe it goes back to what Alessandro said with recent progress on the IT team. If you want to touch on that, Alessandro?
Yeah, that is exactly the point. And also, now I'm speaking as a treasurer, we always dedicated the budget line, an IT budget line. This at the total disposal of the Secretary General right now. And in the future, of course, this budget could also potentially be increased to enlarge a more and fruitful cooperation within member parties, and of course the IT team that you already had, the IT infrastructure that you already have in place. Thanks.
Thank you for this. Does anyone have a remark or something to share about the organization while we are in it? Okay, I consider this is not the case. We can always go back to some internal discussions at the end of the meeting if need be. So now on to the big chunk of this meeting and the organization stuff. First item is the application of the Romanian Pirate Party ordinary member. So unfortunately, they could not be present. Would any of you would like to discuss the topic? I don't know, for miscellaneous details, basically they sent us a few emails. We went back and forth to discuss how they could fit in the organization, because we had to check several criteria which are highlighted in our statutes. And there are no issues for them to be joining us. So yes, unless any of you has maybe some remarks to address, we could directly go ahead and vote them in. Marco?
Yeah, I was wondering, what is the legal form that they have?
That is a good question. So basically, during my discussions with them, they currently have, on a technical sense, two organizations. They have two parties, but one of them is an old structure, and the one in which they currently are is a new political structure, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, but it's like an association. It's an informal association. It has some sort of legal registration.
It does have a form of legal registration because they are recognized as a party in Romania.
Perfect.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
I cannot tell you exactly what form it takes, but they are a political party.
Perfect. Yeah, it was more if they have a formal organization or not, from my point of view.
Okay.
So thank you. You answered my doubt.
Okay, very good. So you can still raise your hand and ask questions, but now I will be writing the proposal about them joining the organization. Okay, the thread is now up, posting it into the chat. You may go ahead and vote.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes.
May I remind to the German delegates that the Pirate Party of Germany has 2 votes.
Yep. Indeed, they have 2 votes. There are 2 declared delegates. But I believe Lucas, both Lucas and Rugena, I hope I pronounce it well, are able to vote, but they both sent a message into the thread.
Perfect, thank you.
And they decided to split the votes between each of them, which seems acceptable.
Yes, this is what
Yeah.
I would like to confirm. Thank you.
So I believe we are still missing the Czech votes and the French votes. Let us know in the chat if you have having any problems. And both are in. It is unanimous, and the Romanian pirates have joined us. Thank you very much, guys.
And soon they will get the membership fees for 2025 from the treasurer. Florian, all good?
Yeah, so I was muted on several levels, talking to myself for a bit. So basically, the next point of order is about removing 2 board members. They joined the board earlier during the year, but we are facing a problem with the mandatory declarations to Luxembourgish registers. Because our organization is registered in Luxembourg, we have to declare the administrators, in effect, our board members, but we cannot collect the details we need from them, and that is a problem. So this is why we are suggesting to the council to dismiss them, because you are the only ones who have the power, so we can properly complete the registration procedures with the authorities. If you guys have any questions, please raise your hands. Yes, Marco?
So my question is, did the board make multiple attempts to reach them towards which channels?
Yes. So in the case of Lenya, we tried several people through back channels, both through contacts in the Icelandic Parrot Party, through persons who were close to her, and through emails with the details we had. We were able to reach out to her, and she came to the conclusion that yes, she wouldn't like to continue with the board to some extent. So in her case, it's pretty much settled. The other case is a bit more blurry because we tried to reach Marek through emails, phone calls, and contacts in the Czech Pirates. It turned out through these contacts through the party that Marek was unavailable, and I don't have further details to share because we didn't really hear from him.
Thank you.
Yes, Raman?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Like, who was this discussion regarding? If you can like elaborate once again.
Yes, so this discussion is about Marek Barbush, who
And he
was...
did not respond to you or something.
No, yeah, we tried to reach out to him through emails and phone calls,
Yeah.
but he didn't respond. Then we reached out to some people in the Czech Parrot Party, and these people in turn were answered that he was inactive for the moment, like he was doing something else and not paying much attention to his political activities. He may have his
I see.
reasons, no problem, but basically we did not have feedback.
No, like to be honest, like yeah, as you mentioned, like he may have his reasons, but on behalf of a Czech Pirate Party, like I'm so sorry because, of course, like no matter what your reasons are, I think it's a bit unprofessional because in the end of the day, you can always leave a message or like a disclaimer, like I resign my position or I cannot stay on top of my duties, like I have a lot of stuff in my life. So yeah, I completely understand, and like to all of you, like I am truly sorry for that.
Yes, thank you for this. So of course we'll have our standards for how we should behave in such an environment. I really want to underline that there is no judgment whatsoever here. The proposal is about removing them for legal reasons. It's like because we cannot register them, we should dismiss them because else they would still be listed as beneficiaries of the organization, which is not good. So they are effectively blocking these proceedings for us, and that's the base of it. No judgment. This is only for us to be able to move forward. Would you have any further questions? Yes, Harman?
Yes, so sorry. So I just want to elaborate. Like, have you had any like response or feedback from him regarding this position of yours, or has there like been no feedback despite like you mentioning that you might remove him from the board position?
So I think the best way I can frame it is that we did not receive direct feedback, and the summary of what he answered to our contacts in Czech Republic was that he was unavailable.
Okay, I see. Yes, thank you for that answer.
Yeah. Yes, Andrel?
I assume that if he turns up and everything is settled and he can comply and provide you with all the details, that we could still add him later on again at the board. Is that correct?
Yes. So what will happen if they are removed is that 2 openings will be opened at the next council meeting. So the board is considering maybe having a council meeting to fill the slots, but one of the counter ideas would be to just have a regular renewal meeting at the start of next year, so the board can be completely renewed in its entirety instead of trying to onboard a few people for a few months. So that's what will happen. Nothing would prevent him from candidating again or from being elected again.
Thanks.
There's one thing I had in mind, but it slipped. Which is, yes, just to underline that this is only a procedure. There is a provision inside the board that if someone is not present and not excused at a board meeting for 3 consecutive meetings, then we start the procedure of removing them. But ultimately, it's only the council who has the power to do it. So what the board did was notice there was inactivity. Then there is also the fact that it prevents us from doing the registration stuff. And then we are here because we would like you to, to take action on the matter to help us out. Does anyone have another thing to submit? Okay, thank you. So I will open 2 different threads for each of the board members in question. I will go ahead and vote and open the first voting thread. Okay, here it is. So I send the link in the chat. Okay, thank you very much. I think we have everyone. Yeah, I'm then going ahead and closing this thread and preparing the second one. Here it is, sending the new link in the chat, and you may go ahead and vote. Every vote is in. Thank you very much. The thread is now closed. And we can proceed to the next point of order, which is potentially delegating a decision on the new logo to the board. Yes, Alessandro?
Yes, just for the minutes, can you just announce the results, please?
Yes, so I will do that for each vote. So the vote about Linia was unanimous. And the vote about Marek was also unanimous. So in effect, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 11 votes in favor for both. Okay, going back to the item, which is potentially delegating the adoption of a new logo to the board. I will briefly introduce the idea. We started talking to a designer about reworking the logo. And the idea here is to delegate the decision to the board in order to have a more time-sensitive decision, I think, basically. Yes, Alessandro?
Sorry, Chair, to bother you again. I have now the statute changes in the agenda has been removed because there is no quorum, or we can is still there and we announced that there is no quorum, so we're passing further. Thank you.
So I think we will proceed the way you said last. Like it is still on the agenda and we will take it once it's time.
Thank you.
Okay, so about this PPEU logo decision. Does anyone would like to say something on the topic? Yes, Marco?
I have a question, and it is that it is not clear to me why we need a logo change in the first place.
So the idea is that the logo is becoming a bit old and it will benefit from a rework.
Thank you. But from the text, it seems like the board is asking for a delegation to decide on the adoption of the new logo. Is this correct? Did I understand it wrong?
Yes, so the proposal will be only to delegate the adoption to the board. If this is not the case, then it will be up to the council to decide.
Okay. But this, I mean, this designer is a professional, so I guess that we would need to pay him, right, for this job?
Yes. So the budget which has been allocated to the task so far is 600 euros with a professional designer who is doing us a price.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Andrel?
I also don't see the point of changing the logo. And also, I think the normal procedure is that board, the board is taking the lead in making sure that there will be a new logo, and then I think the council would be the more appropriate place to vote on the adoption of it. So I think it's a two-step process. That's my feeling.
I understand. The base idea is that the council and the board proceed on different levels. For example, the board will be overseeing the work of the graphical designer. And the idea is that because they oversee the work, they are best placed to approve the work or not. Else, if you have the council who takes the lead on supervising the graphical designer's work, the schedule is automatically how can I say it? Instead of taking weeks, it takes months, basically. I think Alessandro was first.
Thanks, Chair. So basically what happened, we, the board, decided to allocate 600 euro for a new logo proposal. This is in our mandate, and we did it already. Now, what we are proposing to the council is, when we will have this new logo, can we decide on the adoption, we, the board ourselves, or you would like to prefer to vote on the new adoption? That's the procedure. Thank you.
So then I think Andrel raised their hand.
Oh yes, and that's I forgot a little bit. But if the procedure is that the council, I think the council should decide and not the board, and I think the board should lead, and I think that's sort of what is proposed or not. I'm not sure. I'll wait for the wording of the proposal.
Okay. So I believe Marco does not want to talk anymore. Bastian, you may go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Good afternoon to all. Do we have another? I think we should handle important problems. The logo is not important. We have to support our members in their elections and so on and so on. And I have tons of merch, and I can throw it away and to right into the basket or the litter box if you have a new logo It makes no sense. It's not only changing a logo on a website. We have a lot of flags and so on. I'm not very, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed about that proposal. Thank you.
Okay, so I will. I don't think I was clear enough, so I will try to rephrase it. The idea is that maybe the council doesn't like the council is maybe not the right place to talk about a logo, and the suggestion is that this thing is delegated to the board, but you can very much decide whatever you want to do. Andrel?
Yes, the issue is who's going to do the process, but the issue is who's going to adopt a new logo. Is that the board or is that the council? And I think in the way you word it, it's still unclear to me who will have the final say.
So the idea is that the council, unless specified otherwise, decides on pretty much anything. And here the proposal would be to delegate this precise decision to the board. So the council will not have to be bothered about it.
You're talking about decision. So that's the final say.
Yes, so basically the board will be empowered to say this is the new organization's logo.
I
This
think
is
the
the
board
idea.
should just do a proposal to the council. And that's something
Okay,
completely different.
okay. Marco?
Yeah, I was about to ask the same thing. Like, what if we don't like the logo? What if the council doesn't like the logo that the board decided? I mean, it's, and also I don't find. I also had prior to the meeting a talk to, of course, the legal representative of the Swedish Para Party, and we discussed about the logo. And he has a background in marketing, and let's say that we had a fruitful discussion about that. But basically, as a declaration, I will vote no on this proposal because I feel like, okay, we can explore the matter, but
Okay, so going back on what you said in the first part of your intervention, let's imagine that the board gets to adopt a new logo for the organization. At the next council meeting, the council can decide to revert the change, however it may like. Because whatever is done can be undone, and the council ultimately has all the powers. Yes, Marco?
yes, but we will be 600 euros poorer.
Sorry, Chair.
Yes, Alessandro.
Thank you. So maybe it's not clear. We the board decided to spend 600 euro for a new logo proposal. That's in our mandate, and that's it. And there is nothing to do with the council. It's a board affair. Now, then there is a second part that is completely up to the council to decide. If the council wants to delegate the decision of adopting the new logo, if there will be whatever decision it will be, because the board could say, okay, no, we don't like any new logo, we spent 600 euro for nothing and we will not change it, or the council would like to maintain this capability. In this case, I beg Florian, please, to write down the proposal, the actual proposal, so everyone can read it, and we are not talking forever and ever, as Francois already said. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm writing it down. I see no other hands being raised. So I'm writing down the proposal in the chat. And I may be just clarifying the end of who considers what is fit or appropriate. And whether you agree or disagree with the proposal for now is not the direct subject. Do you find this sentence to be clear enough so we can vote on it? Okay, you still have time to think and raise your hands while I am preparing the proposal, but I will let you know before I push it. Okay, the proposal is ready, and to answer to Rugena, the logo is important on several levels, and I believe the meeting here already highlighted some aspects of it. Regardless of it being the anchor of our image, it also can encourage attachment to the movement. And some people can be quite attached to the old logo. Okay, I believe we have reached the end of the discussion, so I will now push the voting thread onto the forum, and you may use the link to vote. And I just noticed we skipped the change of statutes. Well, I mean, I skipped in my head. We will get back to it, just so everything is clear. Okay, I believe everyone voted. So I'm now closing the thread. And the result is unanimous no with 3 abstain. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 no and 3 abstain, which checks out. Okay, so circling back quickly to the issue of the change of statutes. Our current statutes provision that 2/3 of members who are entitled to vote should be present. We currently have 13 members entitled to vote, so we would need 9 members to be present or represented. But we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 members present and represented. So this is why we are skipping this change of statutes point of order, because we don't have a quorum to decide on it. I hope this is clear for everyone. And if not, do not hesitate to shoot your question. Yes, Marco?
I believe the only thing we can do is to defer the decision to the next council meeting. So it shouldn't even need to be decided, I guess. We can just, yeah. Or
So
we can do it like...
that's a good remark, because this point of order was to update the statutes to reflect a new law, or like an updated law on non-profit organizations in Luxembourg. So on the procedure side, yes, we will have to push this back to the next council meeting. But regardless, this new law will kick in 2 days from now. And even if we have not yet taken a decision, this new law will apply to us. I will be unable to say how it will be articulated with our current statutes, but just so you know, and for the sake of clarity, that's the situation. Do you have a question, Raman?
Yes, I'm so sorry. Like my internet connection has cut out for a moment. But was this the change in the Luxembourgish laws that you mentioned? Was it regarding the logo, or was it regarding like something more acute?
No. So this is completely separate from the logo issue.
Yeah.
This is basically the Luxembourgish authorities, or like the legislator, updating stuff about how they regulate NGOs, and automatically it will take effect 2 days from now on. So we will be subjected to it. And the
No,
change of statute.
I do understand. Yeah, but if you could just summarize the exact change that is happening and what that means to us, or AKA like why we are not in compliance, for example.
So the law adds some obligatory mentions in some areas. Nothing is big or is a major problem for us, but basically you have to mention some more stuff. You may have to add some clarity on some points. That's the idea. Yes, Raman?
Yeah, so sorry, but if I can just elaborate. So based on what you mentioned, like regarding the Luxembourgish like legislative proposal and legislative change, so does it mean if, for example, the PPEU like doesn't change anything regarding its statutes and the way it stands currently, will we be potentially at risk of violating the newly formed Luxembourgish law, or do you think as it stands now, it could, for example, be fine? Because if we are at risk of violation, then the Pirate Party of Czechia would, of course, push for legislative reform, especially our statutes, as soon as possible, because we will obviously get a fine, and it is not, something nice. So I would say it is a very urgent matter that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, so the answer is we will be violating them, but it will not have consequences such as the ones you described. Because yes, we will not be completely complying with it, but it will apply by default to us, even though our articles are not updated in line correctly. So for example, yeah, I'm trying to get the document below my eyes to give you some details. What is your question?
No, so I'm so sorry, but like, if I understood it correctly, you're basically saying that even if we do not do anything, even if we are in violation of a law, Luxembourg will not basically care, right?
Well, it's not that they will not care, it's that the enforcement will not cost us fines and so on. For example, if there is an issue about an article of our statutes, our statutes or our article will not prevail. They would need to draw a conclusion based on how it relates to the updated law and how it should have been under the new regime. Yes?
Yes, once again, like, I'm so sorry for asking clarification, but like what you just said, it did not really explain anything to me. Like, I do not know what conclusion I have to make based on your remark right now.
So the conclusion is that instead of relying on our statutes, because they will not change, we should be relying on our statutes that we read with the new law in mind, so that the things we are not able to clearly write in our statutes, but that the new law requires, we have them in mind, you know? Yes?
Yeah, so basically what you're saying, like, based on the updated version of like the Luxembourg statutes for NGOs, we are doing like a charitable interpretation of our statutes. So what we are saying that the gaps or like unclarities, like what is not clear in our statutes, we are going to interpret them charitably in a uniform way based on the Luxembourgish updated law. So like we try to interpret it in harmony, right?
Yeah.
That's what I understand.
Yeah, so I have one good example with me, and I will give you the floor after Andrel. Is that, for example, the new law states that membership fees cannot exceed 1,000 euros. So currently, this line is not in our statutes, but it's not a problem because our membership fee is much lower. The issue is that if for some reason the council decides to have a 2,000 membership fee, then unless we have written somewhere as a reminder that it cannot exceed 1,000, we would be breaching the new law. You know what I'm saying? And Andrel, yes?
Yeah, I was also looking for the changes that that were proposed. I think one of them was also that there is our statutes said that there would be some more or less a unanimous decision, whereas the new law says it should be 2/3 or something like that. So in that case, the 2/3 will be effectively what counts for the decision, and not what is in our statutes. I think that's sort of the things that's going on, and that's the reason why you don't need to have fines, because the law simply takes precedent over the
Yes.
written statutes. So I think that makes sense, but I think it's still much better to adopt. And I don't have the statutes present, but normally you have 1 or 2 times you do the full council, and then you can do it by a simple qualified majority. So in the next council meeting or the council meeting after that, we can adopt no matter how many people are present. I think that's what is standard.
So I will answer briefly, and then Alessandro will give you the floor. What you said is not per se correct, but I will use it to highlight one potential risk. Let's say that the new law requires us to be anonymous on a topic, but currently we take decisions with majority votes. So if we take a decision with majority votes, someone can attack this decision and potentially win because the law would require us to take it unanimously. So that's one set of risk. Currently, there are no big problems in our statutes because even though the law has provisions by default, we can always be more restrictive than the law. So currently there are some provisions around the changes of statutes in the updated law, which plans for fail-safes and failures in the case of a meeting which doesn't gather enough votes for the quorum, with automatically convening a new meeting without a ceiling. But here, this will not apply because we are allowed to be more restrictive. And the only way we can take decisions relating to the changes of statutes is with this qualified majority of 2/3 of the votes cast by 2/3 of the ordinary members, with a quorum of 2/3 of the members being present or represented. So yes, one set of risks could be that we take decisions which could be attacked and deemed unlawful. But here, we cannot use this new law to automatically have a new way of deciding for the next council meeting, because we can be more restrictive than the law, and this is the case here. This is something I confirmed with the Luxembourgish services while working on the subject. Yes, Alessandro?
Yes, thank you. So I think that one thing that we could do as the board for the next council meeting preparation is to inform every member about why we did these changes and what could be potentially an issue if we will not reach the quorum and we will not able to adapt our the new LBR law. And that's it, because as for today, we cannot proceed further. Thank you.
Marco? You are still muted, Marco.
Okay, sorry. I was wondering, since right now the English version is the official one, but the one that is registered towards the Luxembourgish authorities is the French one, right? Am I correct?
So Luxembourgish considers French, German, and Luxembourgish as official languages. So we would have to register our statutes in these languages. However, this is something I also confirmed with them. We can very much continue working with English statutes, English versions. The only thing to keep in mind is that in case of a major disagreement and potentially a trial, the French or German or Luxembourgish version would be considered.
Yeah, okay, I understand. Because so I was thinking about the fact that this law is coming into force in 2 days. I guess that we would need to somehow register something or not. It is my understanding that this is the urgency, that we really need to do this now. Is it correct?
So
No, okay.
the idea is that now would be a good time, but the law doesn't require us to do it because it will automatically apply to us even if we don't change. The only thing is that if we do change, then we have statutes which are updated and which are better guidelines for us when we operate day to day. Because we don't have and we cannot take a decision now, we will have to operate with the old ones, and then we would have to spend energy making sure that these old guidelines would not drive us to take a wrong decision or to contradict this new law. Raman?
Yes, so if I understand well, this is a proposal, especially regarding what you said just now. So the updated statutes that are going to be based on like discussion and put up to vote today, they reflect the change in the Luxembourgish law, as I understand it. Is that correct or no?
So this is to some extent incorrect. This is correct that it recapitulates all the changes which are either mandatory or convenient, but they also integrate some little points which are corrections or better phrasing to try and have a bit of convenience pushed into the statutes. So it's not only legally required per se. Some of the some of the submitted changes are also some form of second reading, convenience updates, and such. Yes, Raman?
Yeah, so I understand that like it's like the statutes are also like, inter alia to make it more convenient and, to smooth line and streamline like everything that we have dealt with. But to rephrase my question, in the slightest, like at the least, like no matter what, in the minimum, it will at least be compliant. If we approve the changes in the statutes, it will at least be compliant with the current amendment to Luxembourgish law. Is that correct or no?
So there are two answers to this. The first answer is that it will be compliant to the best of our abilities here, but down the line, the only thing which can certify that it is compliant would be a judge. It's like it's a bit of a
Or
technical answer.
non-compliant, potentially, right?
Yeah, it's a bit of a technical answer, but the only person who can 100% say what is compliant or not will be a judge issuing a decision.
That's true, but okay, to even more thoroughly, or in a more detailed way, rephrase my answer, I would say that the board has tried its best to update the statutes in such a way that they are trying their hardest to make it as most compliant as they can be, in their opinion, to the Luxembourgish change in law. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, and I would underline the involvement of Numero 6, who is also in this meeting, in drafting out these changes. So it was not only the board, but also Numero 6. Yes, Marco?
No, then okay. Given this fact, I would have had another proposal if that, but since we don't really have this, like we don't risk fines, we don't. The only thing that we risk is a disalignment between the legally effective statutes and what we think is the statutes. I think that it's safe to defer the decision to the next council meeting. Yeah, and in the meantime to try to get on board as many members as possible so that we have a quorum at the next council meeting. Yeah, I think that this is the best course of action. And if at the next council meeting we don't have this quorum, then we will have to think to something else. But I would do this proposal that this point is deferred to the next council meeting.
Yes, thank you. So indeed, to recapitulate, no big risk with this, only the fact that our current statutes should be considered outdated, and maybe they would prompt us to take a wrong decision, although there shouldn't be enormous consequences. So currently we don't have a quorum, we cannot decide, and this will be deferred to the next council, as you say, Marco. So now that this is done, unless someone has a last remark, we could proceed to the discussions to the next point in the agenda, which was submitted by Pirati, about discussing the events around the Greek Pirate Party resigning from PPEU. Do you want to touch on that, Marco, directly?
Yes, thank you. So the issue is that there are two, in the letter that the Pirate Party of Greece sent, there are two issues that are highlighted. One, for sure, can be helped up to some extent, in the sense that we all know that the Para Party of Greece has had a pretty strong position on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or the Gaza crisis. And but the second one is that they explicitly called for that they felt that there was a political censorship going on around the discussion. So this, so the issue that I would like to raise is that it is possible, of course, that the Para Party of Greece would have left our organization anyway, but it's also possible that the way the disagreement was handled not only between the members, but by the board too, heightened this disagreement. It exasperated it. So my question is if there is, if, let's say like this, in my opinion, this was, we can call it a miscommunication more than a mishandling, I would say, more miscommunication or things that were not communicated properly and were open to interpretation. But my point is, the board will make sure that things like this will be handled in more sensitive manners in the future. So my point is, did we learn something from this?
If I can,
yeah,
if I can ask you to precise, who would you would like to answer this? Is it addressed to the board, to everyone present, only the council members?
primarily to the board, but of course I'm open also for the input of the other members. I mean, I want to hear more opinions because I would also like to understand if the idea that we have that this crisis could have been handled in other ways is shared, or it's something that only we have. And also I talk about this to Michael, and this is also the feeling. I mean, I'm in this regard, with this question, I'm asking both representing Pirati and the Swedish Para Party. So primarily, I would say I would ask you, Florian, since you are the chair and so the, let's say, primus inter pares of the board, but also other board members and other members.
Yes, of course. So evidently things can always be handled better. For instance, I noticed that some of the exchanges which were held in the forum were maybe not handled in the appropriate way because of the immediacy and because of the how can I say, there was to some extent there was a conflict on the location of the discussion and the content of the discussion. So the thread was about a procedural matter, then it was turning into a debate, which is understandable, but moderation actions were taken to try and separate the two. Like, the political discussion should happen and can happen, but it should not come and basically, I don't remember if there's a precise term for this, but you cannot pollute a thread, basically. That's some sort of forum etiquette, trying to make sure that the discussions in a thread stay relevant. So of course, this this is one of the examples of the things which could have been handled better. On the other hand, I think as a whole, the support the board has provided was adequate. There were discussions with Greek representatives and individuals in private messages. There has also been basically to try and direct them, explain to them how they could feel the proposal, how they would maybe how to put forward their requests, decisions, when it can happen, how it can happen on a procedural level. And then the board also worked on drafting out a sister proposal to theirs. So of course things can be handled better, while I think efforts were made to establish contacts and cooperation to some extent. Alessandro?
Yes, thank you, Chair. So I'm also try to complete this answer as I am one of the board member present here at the meeting. What I would like to say is sometimes things seems in a different way as they are. So basically, it's not only important what we are doing as a board, but also how our actions are have been seen by the externals, members, pirates, and also outside our community. So in this case, I strongly agree with Florian that the board did, in my opinion, made its best effort in order not to take any political decision in or even worse, any political censorship, because it's not only a question of mandate, it's a question of ethics. And I think that we act in a very ethical way. But on the other hand, this could be not the case that for instance, some pirates or even some Greek pirates understood it. And that's of course painful for me, because this is part of a failure of our work, because we lost a member. And it's also said, I also make this very clear in a board meeting. But I mean, I don't see a clear, let's say, shame on the board itself. Thanks.
Yes, Marco, go ahead. You are still muted, I think.
Yes, sorry. So, yeah, there was absolutely an optics problem, but I don't think that it's the only problem. It's also something that has to do with the certain competences of the organs. So, according to the statutes, for sure, the board has the power to defer something to the Council of the Code of Conduct. But I'm talking now specifically on how the situation escalated. That basically was when there was a public request for a member of the Greek para party to be deferred to the Council of the Code of Conduct. Now, the problem that I saw, and that it appeared, okay, the problem with the optics is that it seemed like in a matter of heated exchange, only one part was blamed for that. Because what I saw, and some of the comments that I saw, were quite, how can I say, creating heat towards the Greek para party. And that some Greek para, of course, if I understood correctly, there was an overreaction on that side. But again, this is another problem, because the board is representing the council when it acts. So when the board does something, it does it in the name of all the members. So that's why the board should primarily have transparency as its means. In cases like this, of course, it cannot be fully transparent because, of course, there are reserved matters that need to be sent to the Council of the Code of Conduct. But that's exactly why we established the Council of the Code of Conduct in the first place, which is an independent organ that does not answer to the Council. So what I mean is that even if in the view of the board itself, what it did and how it did was a procedural issue, it acted as if it was a political issue because the board is a political organ. So, yes?
Yeah, go ahead, Alessandro.
Yes, I would like just only to say that in that case, probably, I mean, it was a technical mistake, technical in the sense of really technicality in technical part. In order to solve the situation and not, of course, to exasperate the situation, to defer the the Pirate Party of Greece to the Code of Conduct Council as a board. We could do it as pirates or member of any pirate, but not as a board. I do agree with you, Marco. Thanks.
Perfect. That was more or less my point. And I would like to hear other opinions if anyone want to talk about the matter. But I don't have any, there is nothing really that I want to vote about on this. It's just that we could have handled this better. That's just we all, because this is also the council. I mean, because in the end, the board is the hand of the council. So I, I believe that it's also the council responsibility.
Thank you for this, both Marco and Alessandro. Would anyone like to react to this issue as well? Are you okay with the minutes, Alessandro? Do you need some time to write this down?
No, I'm okay. The only thing that I would like you to know that from now on, I could, I mean, have disruptions and stop taking the minutes. So I
Yeah, okay.
apologize in advance. Thanks.
Thanks for letting us know. I will let some more seconds to go by so you can have some final thoughts and potentially raise your hand on this subject before we move on. Okay, so we are now moving on. The topic at hand is a European Citizen Initiative touching on psychedelic assisted therapies. We do have a guest with us here, Theo Giobilai, who represents the ICI. I believe, Theo, you may have a short presentation for us. And right before I give you the floor, I will add a link to the chat because a thread about the ECI was started and the council members may find some materials in it. So here is the link in the chat. And Theo, now the floor is yours. Let me know if you are here, if you are ready, and if you'd like to introduce yourself, of course.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Great. Well, I don't have the slides on me. I don't know if I can share them, but I have a presentation. I can speak for a couple of minutes to give a general presentation. That's okay?
Yes, very, very much. If you'd like to first introduce you as a person.
Yeah, sure. All right. So yeah, my name is Theo. I'm French and 27 years old, and I'm the founder of the Psychedelic Care European Citizen Initiative, which I started 3 years ago. And now we are basically running the campaign in 20 countries and aiming to change regulation on psychedelic assisted therapies in the EU and its member states. And I live in Brussels, and I was a brief member of the Pirate Party a couple of years ago as well. Worth to mention, I guess. So should I start the presentation of the initiative?
Yes, thank you very much. I think you will have a presentation and then, of course, some time for questions.
All right, thank you. So I'll try to be brief. The psychedelic Care is a European citizen initiative. So you might be familiar with the tool, which is democratic movements, a democratic tool for European citizens to propose new laws at the EU level through a one-year campaign to gather 1 million signatures. And ours is focused on the introduction and the rollout of psychedelic assisted therapies in light of the current mental health crisis that is ongoing in the EU, with more than 1 out of 6 people affected by mental health, which means that basically every one of us either are directly affected or that we know someone who is affected. So it represents 84 million Europeans in the EU, up to 1 person out of 2 resist to treatment who has severe depression, which is actually such a huge number, and so we are lacking new treatments, and the annual cost of the mental health issues is around 600 billion euros across the EU every year. So there is this huge mental crisis, and we are lacking new treatments. There are very few new psychiatric treatments that are introduced in the EU compared to, for example, treatments for oncology. In 2 years ago, there was only one treatment, psychiatry, when it was 19 new treatments introduced for oncology. So we are lacking solutions. And on the other side, since 20, 30 years, there has been this resurgence on research on the use of psychedelics in therapy. So meaning the use of what we call classical psychedelics, LSD, MDMA, DMT, magic mushroom, or psilocybin, which is the active agent of magic mushrooms. And they are showing promising results for treating severe depression, anxiety, end-of-life anxiety, addictions like alcoholism or the substance use disorder with tobacco, for example, and many more promising issues, mental health issues. There has been some countries that are introduced the use of psychedelics in therapy. And personally, as a French coming from Strasbourg, 2 years from where I come from, I was kind of shocked that when I learned that, in Switzerland, since 2014, you can use MDMA and psilocybin in psychiatry, and in France, no, or at that time in any other country of the European Union. And there were countries around the world that were moving forward with it, such as Canada, the US, Australia. And now, since a few weeks and months, Czech Republic and Germany are moving forward, which shows that this is a promising solution that can be implemented, and some countries are moving forward. And we consider, as EU citizens, that not only some EU citizens should have access to those kind of therapies, such as German or Czech citizens, but any EU citizen that would have the need to find a better treatment. So we started this initiative in January, and we have gathered around 40 partners of association on research, psychedelic societies, on democracy and science, and we are running the campaign until January 2026. We have 3 requests that, if we get the 1 million signatures, that we'll present to the European Commission, which are first to support the establishment of standards, called common standards across the EU based on the best practices, to make sure that patients can have safe and accessible access to the kind of therapies. Second of all is to boost EU-funded research, because there is a lot of promising therapeutic application of these psychedelics compounds, such as anorexia or cluster headaches, where there are very much promising results. And a few months ago, there have been the first EU-funded project, fully funded project, on the use of psilocybin in anxiety, end-of-life anxiety. And the third one is to coordinate the work of member states pretty much like 2019 for cannabis, so to make appropriate recommendation to change international regulation that currently slow down the research and the implementation of such policies. So we are present in around 20 countries, and with a strong teams in France, Italy, Spain, or Belgium and Portugal. And now we are very much looking forward by the end of the campaign to gaining visibility, notably on World Mental Health Day, which will take place on the 10th of October. So we are preparing some activities at the European Parliament and at the national level, contacting public figures and content creators, because we believe that is a topic where there is a lot of stigma still, that is slowing down also policy proposals. So first of all, there is also work of raising awareness on the topic and then getting signatures. So that's why also we wanted to present this initiative to the Pirate Party, because we believe it very much aligns with the political objectives of the Pirate Party. And so thank you so much for giving us the possibility to present the initiative, and definitely open to questions. I hope I wasn't too long and I was clear. Oh, should I give the floor? Or...
No, sorry, I was muted again, but thank you very
Okay.
much for the presentation. I think it was precise and thorough at the same time. And Marco, you may speak.
Yes, so thank you for this presentation. It was really interesting. And I mean, before this meeting, I went to read the proposal. I want just to point out that, okay, if I remember correctly, the text of the proposal is translated by the team, by the European Union team, so probably it's not, but you might want to signal that the English version is significantly different in the second point from the other languages. I mean, I checked the Italian, the Spanish, and the Swedish one, and the English one. And the English one reads, I mean, in all the other language, the second point is that the Commission needs to finance research for reinforce the base, like the empirical base of evidence on the safety and efficiency. But in the English version, it sounds like the research should basically find that it's more safe and efficient. So I think that it's significantly different, and it could undermine the proposal, because I see that in all the other languages it's sort of correct and understandable, but in English is slightly different. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Do you speak for the European Commission website, right, of the initiative?
Yes, yes.
All right.
Exactly.
I will take you. Thank you for bringing that forward.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Marco. Any more questions around? I will once again leave you some more seconds while I am preparing the proposal for us to decide to give our formal support to the ECI. Okay, the proposal is ready. I can see Raman asking a question. You could share the ECI link. Okay. So I am currently fetching it. Up, and it is here. Theo was quicker. Do you need some more time, Raman, or do you think you will be ready to cast your vote?
I mean, to be honest, like it is a big proposal to read through, but I mean, I do live in the Netherlands at the same time, so I'm a lawyer, so I definitely do get a sense of understanding. So I do think I can endorse it. Yeah.
Okay. So I will now push the voting thread. A kind reminder for Matej, just to note that you were given one additional vote for the French pirates. Perfect. So now I am posting the link and you may vote in the thread. Yes, Raman?
I do have a question. Like for me personally, or for the Czech Pirate Party, it will definitely not impact in any way the way that we vote. Like, of course, we endorse ECI, but I was just curious if the ECI, like for me, I did not have like a lot of large amount of time to read through it in detail. But I was wondering if like the ECA takes into consideration like the different stances that different member states have on drug research, drug policy, and drug rehabilitation, especially to mental health. Because, as I mentioned to you, like I do live in the Netherlands, and compared to like the rest of Europe, like the Netherlands is much more pragmatic, I would say, when it comes to its hard drug policy and like research chemical policy, and it is much more open. Also, like you gave example with Czechia or like Germany, when it came to like doing ketamine or like other hard drugs for like psychological research. So I was wondering if it takes this into consideration and lets different member states take like different stances into like account, or you would rather have or push or harmonize standards which just says we should allow everything as long as it is, proportional, as long as it is beneficial to public health, and as long as it is beneficial to psychological research.
Yeah, I can answer that.
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. And as public health is not, how do you say it in English? But it is not. It is a competence of the member states. So of course, it would take into account the realities of and the policies of the different member states. What we ask for is harmonized standards, but more on the basis of guidelines, saying, for example, to train a clinician, what would be the best practices, recommendation from the Commission through, for example, an expert group that could be created by the European Commission. So basically, the Commission would not enforce the yeah, exactly. So like EU soft law. So recognition also of the therapeutic potential of psychedelics by the Commission would be a major step forward, especially in convincing some member states to progress on those questions, like France, which is pretty much not as progressed as Germany. Again, Germany just allowed the compassionate use of psilocybin a few weeks ago. Czech Republic, the therapeutic use of psilocybin. So the idea is to put and bring forward these best practices at the European level to bring the member states to follow these kind of instructions based on best practices. Again, we're not also kind of proposing. So what we want, yeah, it's we don't want the EU to we don't want to impose on the EU anything. We want to kind of put the topic on the debate and create this platform to exchange the best practices, because in many countries there is no clinical trials, no research yet, and we think that by bringing experts and patients and the member states around the table, that would bring to implementation. I'm not sure I was clear there, but yeah, EU soft law and recommendation from the Commission.
Thank you very much. The floor is still open for questions. I think we are only missing a vote from Lucas. Perfect. All votes are cast. I am now closing the threads, and we have 10 votes in favor and 1 abstention, I believe. So we are officially supporting the European Citizen Initiative. And I believe we have reached the end of the meeting. Would anyone like to have a very last minute discussion or point of order? Thank you, Theo, for being with us. Yes, Andral?
Just to reiterate, we applaud the initiative of MOP to reorganize or to have a group working on IT. And we would really like if there's some European IT where we can all make use of as participating countries. So that's, but I said it when it was relevant also. And also we have very soon our elections. And I think it would be nice if some people from Europe could also be willing to go to the Netherlands to participate in some discussions. We don't have anything planned yet, but I think one of the main reasons of joining the European pirates is that you can have collaboration between countries. And there was one small suggestion from Wietse that perhaps some Germans in the vicinity of Aachen could help us a little bit in Maastricht and surroundings, because we are low on volunteers there. So that's sort of things I wanted to add here.
So just to be clear, before I give you the floor, Raman, you mentioned Wietse in the region of Maastricht, right?
Well, Wietse is not from Maastricht, but we are low in volunteers in the vicinity of Maastricht. So if there's some pirates in the vicinity of Aachen, which is in Germany, or perhaps in Belgium, in that vicinity, they might help us collect some signatures at municipality offices or something like that. So if there's somebody's volunteering, that would be great. But also if, for instance, Marketa would be willing to join the discussion in the Netherlands or in any of the other countries that is having elections, that would be great too. But the same goes for the board members of the Pirate Party. If you get what I'm hinting at. Anyway, no concrete plans at the moment, but...
Thank you for this. Raman?
Yes, so I do have a few thoughts on this, like very interesting, I would have to say. First of all, maybe just to arrange my thoughts, I would like to mention that I am in direct contact with the chairman of our party, like the Czech Pirate Party as a representative, so with the Ingrid. And maybe more interesting for you as the representative of the Dutch Pirate Party, I'm actually currently studying at Maastricht University in Maastricht in the Netherlands. So I actually do live here currently. So not only do I stay in touch with like all the matters that have to deal with like the Czech Pride Party, but I also keep in touch with Dutch politics. I do live in Maastricht, and ja, ik kan een beetje Nederlands spreken. So yeah, I can speak a bit of Dutch. I'm a student, and of course we have a lot of student rallies here. And as a preliminary note, like, you know, especially in Limburg, like we are kind of like in the farmland, like countryside, but I would say like all the boomers are kind of giving the vibe of like voting for far right. But all the students here, like most of the students here, they are actually like young voters, especially Dutch voters. They are from an international background and they really want to vote for progressive parties, especially Eurocentric parties. And I think that it is a very, how do I put it? I think it's a very high target audience that we can definitely take catch of, and we can definitely grasp their votes. And I have spoken to a lot of students here. Like, you know, we are the center for European law or European studies. So Maastricht, on its own, for young students, it's like a Eurocentric location in Western Europe when it comes to higher education studies. So as you say, like, I would definitely love to have this potential of kind of doing like a bit of rallies or promotions and trying to gain votes or like attention to, you know, the European party cause. And from judging from my experience, I would say that there is definitely an interest for it. And if actually, like, I'm also in direct contact with Marketa, so like if there is like an interest from your side, I definitely could see it as something that we could get Marketa Gregorova from like the Czech Pirate Party from European Parliament to come over. You could come over, and you know, I could come over to my own town, and we could do like a small political rally, and we could try to maybe get a bit of a crowd and get attention from students, and we could try to gain attention to our cause. I definitely think it would be amazing. So if you are down for it, like I would say I'm definitely down for it as well.
Well, could you take up contact with the Dutch Pirate Party then?
If you refer your contact address to me, I would definitely love to.
Well, there's a pirateparty.nl, piratenpartij.nl. So start from there, and I'll try to contact you via this forum also, okay?
Perfect. Thank you very much. Any last thoughts? I believe not. Then I think this concludes in quite a manner our meeting. Thank you very much again, everyone, for joining. And thank you for the energy. It was lovely to have you. Thank you for live streaming, Parrots on Hair. Thanks again, Numerosis, for the help on the statutes, even though we didn't get to examine the proposal. And see you all hopefully very soon. The meeting is closed at 16:21. Yes, Raman?
Yes, I'm so sorry for just disturbing you. Like, I'm sure all of you would like to go home. But just as a final point of remark, like, I'm sure you're all following the Czech Pirate Party elections and
Yes.
the parliamentary elections that are going to happen on the 30th of September and the 1st of October. So if you have any questions, I would just like to remind you that I am a point of contact and point of information when it comes to information exchange between other pirate parties in the Europe or in the world. And the Czech Pirate Party, as I mentioned, I'm in direct contact with our chairman, Zdeněk Hřib. So if any questions, any remarks, any points of inquiries, or also like requests for collaboration or information exchange, feel free to reach out to me. I am going to put my email address in the chat right now. So if you have any questions or remarks, feel free to get in touch with me. I am at your disposal. Just putting that out there.
Yep, that is very helpful. Thank you.